Hello, my name is Wyatt, and welcome to my ethnographic presentation. All right, so this is my school's mission statement: accept excellence, grounded in compassion to meet the needs of all learners. And I would say, based on the atmosphere at the school, I would say that it was pretty true to that. Everybody seemed to interact with each other. It seemed like a very inclusive environment all around. Here's a few of the pictures I took from the school. I was actually in the AVID classes. Those were a ton of fun, and that's where I got to work with my focus student a little bit and get to know him a little bit more. Here we go. So my focus student, he identified as a 16-year-old male. He was very involved with sports. I noticed he was socially very quiet. He didn't really talk too much. He was kind of stayed in his little shell that he had. Um, he was the youngest of two siblings, divorced parents, and he lived in low-income apartments. It seemed to be like if it was more like a one-on-one session as I was talking to him, it was easy for me to get him to open up. But during class discussions, he seemed to really kind of like shut down, especially if the environment was noisy or loud. So I was able to connect with my focus student during group discussions in the classroom with other students. These discussions often involved homework, questions from other classes, or we provided prompts about fringe topics that allowed the students to share different points of view. And this is where I really got to see my focus student come out of his shell a little bit. There was a few topics that came up that he could really relate to in terms of poverty, living in low-income housing, being the youngest of two siblings and having to provide. Um, that was really the only time I really seen him come out of the shell was when he got really engaged in the topics. If the topic wasn't really engaging to him, he wouldn't say much at all. These group discussions usually had 6 to 8 students per group. Typically, the classroom had 2 groups in it, which was roughly 20 students in the classroom at a time. The atmosphere of the classroom was very noisy, and it really depended on how much schoolwork the students had. If they didn't have a lot of homework, it was really hard to maintain a good discussion, and I could tell that really affected my focus student. Funds of knowledge of my focus student. He was Caucasian, born in America. He spoke English. He Catholic upbringing. He valued family very much. He was very. You could tell that he had like a lot of respect for his brothers, his mom, and his dad. He worked to help provide for the family, and he did that because he wanted to be independent. He didn't really want to be a burden, I guess, is what he said. So I told him that he's never a burden on his parents, but I respect that he's working to help provide. So yep, he has 2 older brothers, a mom and a dad. He loves sports. They would go camping in the summer with his brothers and his dad. You could tell that social events like that, when he got to go out and spend time with his family, he really valued it. You could tell that they didn't go on a ton of trips, based from what he told me, but when they did go on trips, it seemed like he really did cherish that time. Household chores, he helps clean at both parents' house and take care of pets. His favorite TV shows were South Park and Workaholics. His mother is unemployed and his father works at a auto body shop, and he also told me that he does snow removal in the summer for more income to help the family. And then he also told me that he helps his dad with the snow removal, so he also makes money in the winters as well doing that. Focus student connection. During group discussions, I noticed if the classroom got too loud, as I was saying, he would become very quiet and timid. To help prevent this, I would ask my group to please not speak out of turn if someone else is talking or to raise their hands. This helped make sure he felt comfortable in the social setting. In the beginning, I didn't really have these protocols necessarily in place, but to help foster a better learning environment, I really honed in on that. I made sure that we were raising our hands and not speaking out of turn because I noticed in the beginning when people were doing that, it was really hard to get through the group discussion, let alone have a good group discussion. So establishing that was very helpful because when we did that, it was more quiet, and when it was more quiet, he would actually answer questions more and engage. Knowing my focus student was more introverted, I would oftentimes ask if he felt comfortable answering questions to make sure he felt safe and not out of his comfort zone. So this goes back to the prompts that I was talking about those like certain topics. And if there was a topic I felt maybe might make him uncomfortable when the question came around, I made sure I wouldn't ask him before class. I said, "Hey, like we're gonna be talking about this today. If you are uncomfortable with it, I'll make sure to work around it somehow." And any topic I brought up, he was okay with. But I just want to establish that ground with him that if he didn't want to talk about something, he definitely did not have to. Over time, I realized certain students could not sit next to each other, and this would make my focus student uncomfortable as well as the rest of the group. So I had assigned seating to help group discussion and to create a safe space for all students. This also goes back to making sure the classroom is a more of a calm environment. So he and other students actually could engage in the topics we were discussing. If certain students did sit next to each other, I noticed we wouldn't get as far, and he would shut down and not say as much and just kind of tune out. This is a lesson plan. Connecting with the student. So a few suggestions that I gave to the cooperating teacher was flexible learning environment for the student because of how he works better in a common setting and is more likely to engage. Access to resources to make sure the student knows what he is eligible for based on his parents' income, making sure the classroom has pens and pencils, papers, notebooks, and folders. Snacks in the classroom in case the student didn't have breakfast for nutritional support and brain function, and just check-ins to make sure he's doing okay mentally and emotionally as well as physically. My thank you letter, I said I wanted to say thank you for all the following, for allowing me the incredible opportunity to assist you in your classroom. The experience has been invaluable, and I'm genuinely thankful for the knowledge and insights I've gained through this journey. I truly actually believe that. What I wrote is that experience was incredible. I learned so much from it. I learned so much about myself, so much about students. All around, it was a super valuable experience. And as far as like for the ideas for the teacher to connect more with the student, like the flexible learning, I brought that up because I noticed like depending on the environment, he would work different. He'd work better in a more calm environment. Access is to resources, just knowing that he came from a low income family, just making sure the classroom has materials for him to use, so he doesn't have to ask for his parents to buy any. Snacks in the classroom. Not everybody eats breakfast. I'm not sure if he did every day, so just making sure that the classroom has like snacks, Nutri-Grain bars, granola bars, bananas, anything like that, just to help. And then check-ins. I'm the youngest of two older brothers, so I know like it's harder to speak your feelings, especially when you have two older brothers. You don't really want to seem weak in that sense, so just making sure you're going out of your way to check on him and make sure he's doing okay, because it seemed like he had a pretty good poker face. It was hard for me to tell when he was having a bad day, so just making sure you're going out of your way to connect with him, I'm sure it'll go a long way. Yeah, that's my presentation, and thank you guys for listening, guys and girls. Thank you for listening.